everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Janie and today I'm talking about every book I read for 2022. Now I didn't read that many, which is why I'm able to compile them all into one video. I read 12 books this year and I think that's a huge milestone personally because I stopped reading for a long time because I just didn't have an environment where I felt safe enough to do so. In my old house, it was super loud, so noisy. I had awful neighbors. So that was really where I loved to read and I wasn't able to because there was noise 24/7, like pounding above my head at all hours of the day. So now that I finally moved, I feel like I've actually been reading, and I don't read audiobooks. I don't like them. Obviously this list would be a lot longer if I did read audiobooks because you can multitask with them, but I'm just not a fan of that format for myself personally. The only thing I can listen to is like podcasts, and usually those are only true crime podcasts. That being said, I'm gonna get started. I have them all written down in my notebook right here. So we're gonna start off with Dead Silence, which I already did a book review for. Dead Silence is a space horror book. It's suspenseful, it's a thriller, it's a little bit violent but not super gory. Basically the protagonist is trying to get some items from this abandoned, deserted ghost ship, but it's a ship up in space, a space liner. It's like the Titanic. It went missing 20 years ago. They stumble across the ruins and they're like, let's go get some stuff that we can sell for profit, and then everything kind of goes wrong. It's really good. I highly recommend it. It's also really cheap and it's a fast read. Next one is Olga Dies Dreaming. I got this from Book of the Month. I used to be subscribed to Book of the Month and I canceled back in October, but it's a beautiful, complex, it's a little bit slow paced. It's like a day-to-day about these two siblings. One of them is a very successful, they're both Puerto Rican. Sorry. One of them is a very successful like wedding planner, and she is in Manhattan and she does all these social events. And then her brother is a congressman. He's representing a very gentrified section of Brooklyn. And there's like secrets that come out and they're just trying to figure out their lives. Their mom is trying to come back into their lives and she's radicalized, which I didn't even know what that meant in the context of Puerto Rico and their history. So that was definitely interesting for me. She says some wild things because it's not a very healthy relationship, but those were the moments where I really like related to these characters, where I'm like, yeah, like I have family members that say some stuff like that. So it was very interesting to me. Again, it's a little bit slow, not like super slow paced, but like, you know, like it's like a drama. It's like a family drama. So I think it can be a little bit slow sometimes. I'm glad I read it because it took me out of my comfort zone, and it's beautiful. Latinx, but it definitely made me cry at some point. Speaking of crying, I have Crying in H Mart, and this is a memoir. This was such a beautiful book. Basically, the author's mom passes away from cancer, and this is just a book of where she remembers all these fond memories of her mom and cooking and the culture. She is Korean American, and every time she goes to the grocery store, like she sees other moms or other people that have moms and grandmas, and she's just kind of like mourning and grieving, and absolutely wonderful. I cried so much. The only thing is, I didn't know the author ahead of time. She's actually like a musician, like she has a whole band and everything. I feel like if I had known that she has such an established career, I would have enjoyed this book even more because I would understand, because some of the chapters are like while she's dealing with her mom having cancer, it's also talking about her career and her being in a band and they're trying to make it big. So I feel like if I had known more of her music prior to this, I would have enjoyed it even more. But yeah, absolutely amazing. If you like memoirs or nonfiction, that one's a good one. Then we have A River Enchanted, which is an adult fantasy book. This was very different for me. Again, it's a Book of the Month pick, and the cover is beautiful. So it's like a magical island where girls have gone missing in the clan, and basically two childhood enemies have to team up in order to find out what's going on. A lot of magical aspects. Obviously it's fantasy. The magic system is cool and interesting, and like I just didn't know what I was getting myself into. It's a little bit poetic, and like the way it's written, it's beautiful, but also like it's a little slow pace in some parts. Yeah, like it's atmospheric, but it's slow. And there's like enchantments and stuff. Beautiful. I'm interested to see where that goes because it's obviously going to be a series at this point. But yeah, that was cool. Then we have Pieces of Her. Karen Slaughter, I love her books. I think they're really good thrillers and they're fast paced and they're like, yes, like let's see what's happening, but they can be also gory and violent, and you know, there's obviously crimes involved and death sometimes. This one was really good. Basically the protagonist and their mom are having like a brunch and they get attacked, and the mom is able to like disarm a random man very easily, and that leads her to kind of look at her mom differently and like, where'd you have these skills? Like I thought you were a suburban mom and you're out here disarming these people, and you know, hurting them. But some stuff happens. She goes on the run, and it's really good. Fast pace. I am a sucker for Karen Slaughter. Sometimes I feel like her books are too much, but in this case I really liked it. Netflix also adapted this. Horrible. Amazing cast, but horrible. Like, I don't care if it's different from the book. Like, I'm not the type of person that needs it to be a direct, like, adaptation. But even just what they did was just weird, bad pacing. They just changed it completely, and it just wasn't good. Like, even if I hadn't read the book and I watched that, I would have been like, this is kind of boring and weird. But the cast is so good that it sucks. It sucks to see that happen, because this really would have made such a great adaptation. Then we have You're Invited. So this takes place in Sri Lanka. The cultural aspect of this book, amazing. The talk of the dresses and the food and all that stuff and the location, amazing. But the premise is weird. Basically, this girl, her name is Amaya, she has a best friend who's getting married, and she's marrying her ex, basically. And she goes to this wedding to try to stop it. There's a lot of twists. She's an unreliable narrator. There's a lot of self-harm in this book, which I would definitely suggest not reading if you're triggered by that. There's like hidden motives. I think the twist is predictable. It's weak. It's a cop-out. I don't even remember one element of the twist. Like, I just kind of forgot it already. I feel like it was a little bit forgettable. Like, the writing is good. I just don't know. I felt kind of weird about it. But that's You're Invited. That was a book of the month pick again. Same one with the next one, which is Daisy Darker. So this is a family that's reunited on an island for her grandma's birthday or something, and they're cut off from the world. Like, once a storm hits, the water raises up quite high, so they have no access to the outside world, and suddenly people start dying. Creepy. I want to say something about the pacing or the way it's told, but once you know the twist, it makes sense, but still it's just weird. I don't know, like, I didn't like it too much. There's 2 timelines. I think the twist was disappointing, but kind of also a little obvious, and that's probably why it was disappointing. But it does make sense a little bit when you look back at the story. You're like, okay, that's why these people were interacting like this, or this, that, or the other. The blurb, I feel like, spoils it. This book is compared to a very, very popular YA book, and I feel like the second you read that line, then you know what the twist is. So I suggest not reading the blurb if you're interested in Daisy Darker. Then we have Book of Cold Cases. I think Shea was her name. I don't remember. So the protagonist runs a true crime website. I love that. Like, that was my favorite aspect of this book. It was just so funny. She's investigating like these very popular sensationalized murders that happen in her town. It's like the lady killer murders. Find out what's up. So there's some slight paranormal elements to Simone St. James's books, and I really love it. This was my favorite. I have another book from her that I read too that I didn't love as much, but this one was fun. It was like creepy, unsettling, thriller, mystery. I liked it. I like how it's written. I like the characters. I like that there's always a little bit of love in each of her books, but it's not overpowering the main plot line. Then we have A Deal with the Devil, which is from my Kindle Unlimited. Spicy, fun, witty. Basically, this woman becomes an assistant to like this plastic surgeon, and you know, enemies to lovers, or not that they don't get along, but she just is very frank and she just speaks her mind, throws him off, and it's fun. It's like spicy, fun book. Then we have Broken Girls, which is also by Simone St. James. It's a boarding school, haunted Vermont, and then in 2014, so that was in the 1950s, and then in 2014, there's this woman, her name's Fiona, her sister died close to that boarding school, and now she's realizing that they're trying to reinstate it again, and she's investigating, and she also feels like the person who murdered her sister didn't actually murder her sister. So again, I love it, not as much as the other one. Again, slightly paranormal element to it. Last but not least, we have Hexes and Hemlines. I did talk about this in my TBR. This is like a witchcraft cozy mystery type of book. It's book 3 of the series. It's fun. Each book has a different case, obviously, that she's trying to figure out, but there's also other storylines that take place throughout the whole series, so you're getting more familiar with characters that you were introduced to from the first book, and it's really good. It's sweet, it's cute, it's fun. I'm interested to see where it goes because there's so many installments of that book. Okay, so I think those are all the books I've read aside from Love Like Farms, which I already have a review for. Loved it. Fun. Another Kindle Unlimited option. Romantic, witty, slightly spicy. Best friends to lovers. A woman is struggling with her Christmas tree farm. I'm at the end of the video, so I'm like losing it because my camera's overheating. But yeah, that was what I read this year, and I'm really happy with myself. Like I said, I know that doesn't seem like a lot for a lot of people, but I wanted to be realistic about it. And this is really what I read. And this is more than I read last year and the year before that. So if you have any book recommendations, let me know down below, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.